The Flash, issue 766, finds Barry reminding himself the history is full of good intentions gone wrong. From Klaproth discovering uranium to Oppenheimer weaponizing it, and now he has created Lightsinium to protect his ring from the Speed Force, and Dr. Alchemy has taken the element and used it to possess the powers of the Philosopher's Stone. After telling Iris to run for cover, the Flash confronts the superpowered villain in their cabin. The villain knows the Scarlet Speedster is no match for him and the other sorcerers who have control of Albert Desmond's body. Barry smashes the villain in the face as he turns into Zosamos, using the stone's power to turn Barry's arms to rubber. Desmond soon takes back control of his body, saying that he warned Barry to run while he still had the chance, but now they are all doomed. As Barry tries to vibrate himself to re-solidify his limbs, he learns that the only way they can defeat Dr. Alchemy is to remake the Philosopher's Stone. Barry doesn't think that that's the best solution, not wanting to trust the villain, but Desmond says that they have no other choice. Alchemy fixes Barry's limbs as he leaves, telling Barry that Desmond is the weakest of them and if Barry values his life, he will not follow after them. Barry instead heads to the Hall of Justice, where with John Stewart's help, he removes the micro cameras Trickster placed over his eyes. Barry tells his friend that creating the Philosopher's Stone might be the only way to stop Desmond. John knows that working on the stone is what drove all of the previous alchemists insane, wondering if he can help Barry out, but Barry thinks his friend has done enough thanks to getting rid of the cameras and protecting Iris. And besides, there is only one man who can help him. Barry and Iris contact Will Magnus, asking him about the stone, but the Doctor reveals he never actually made the stone. He only took the idea of it from his ancestor and used it to give life to the elements through the responsometers. Will says that he can't guarantee that if Barry will be affected or not by the stone if he makes one. Since the holder wields the power of the stone, it is then bonded with them forever. Barry says that he's already actually made the stone, but hopes with the Lightsinium additive, the stone won't allow the previous users to control the current user. Iris knows that Will says it can't be done, but Barry knows that he only advised against it. Iris had hoped that Will's warning had been enough, since she can't help but think that Barry is doing all this just to prove that he's the better chemist than Dr. Alchemy. Barry refuses to let it go, since it might be the only hope to end all of this, and worrying about his own sanity will be the least of their worries if they don't stop the alchemists. Later, Flash speeds to Central City, finding the rivers have been turned to gold and the buildings are all warped like a Salvador Dali painting. Flash is suddenly pinned by a cloud that has been turned to bronze as Dr. Alchemy confronts him, saying that they are all going to destroy the hero. He reveals this time he is Simon Magus, the man who discovered the Flash's identity. Flash attacks, learning the reason the alchemists are after him are because Barry goes down in history as a supreme chemist, and they cannot allow him to take that mantle that is rightfully theirs. Desmond takes control, telling Barry they can't win, since they will always push Desmond to control when Barry is close to winning. Also, the hero won't finish off the villain. Barry reveals, however, he has made the stone already, told by the desperate Desmond that they need to use it, but Barry knows that Desmond is the one who needs to use it, so the other alchemists cannot break through. However, it's too late as another of the alchemists takes over Desmond's mind, unleashing his power on the city and turning it all to liquid acid. Flash races around the city, saving the people, and with no other choice, he uses the stone himself, stopping the acid in its tracks and turning it to ice. Desmond is glad that Barry wielded the stone as he proclaims that he is the greatest manipulator, and none of the other chemists had any control over him. In fact, he was the one controlling them all along, and all those who wielded the stone, including now Barry Allen. He tells Barry to bow before him, so the hero does, but it's all part of the Flash's plan. Flash leaps into action, speeding around the villain, and knowing that since both he and Desmond are using Lightsinium to protect themselves from the stone, where Alchemy uses it to protect his body, Barry decided to use it to protect his mind, hence why the villain was unable to control him. Barry knows that his greatest scientific contribution wasn't creating the Lightsinium, it was finding a way to dissolve it using rapid friction, which he does to Alchemy's element. The element melts away from the villain, and thanks to the stone's properties of absorbing the properties around it, Alchemy ends up as one of these properties the stone absorbs from, turning the villain to stone. The Flash knows that he didn't want to have to do this to Desmond, but until he can find a way to separate the stone safely from the man, this is his only option. Barry knows that people come and go, legends fade away, but rock still remains. A week later, Barry is approached by a jewelry store owner who spied him looking in the shop window, wondering what type of stone he's after. Barry says that he's just waiting for a friend, and the owner knows it's a lady friend, knowing a ring can say everything he can't find in words. Barry knows what the man means, but knows it's also complicated, but the store owner says that it always is, until it's not, and Barry should trust him since all he's got to do is put one foot in front of the other. Barry knows he can definitely do that, and the man is glad, hoping that when the time comes, Barry will come back to his store since he can help him out, since it's not just about the gem, it's also about the sitting of the gem as well, and he wants to make sure the stone stands out for all to see. With the owner's words in mind, Barry places the stone Dr. Alchemy on a statue pedestal in Iron Heights, so he will serve as a reminder to the hero to find a way to help Desmond, and the commitment to saving a human being is the greatest achievement for a hero. Barry knows he lost sight of that while fighting the villain, but he knows that won't happen again, no matter how fast he's going. The Flash issue 766 ended Kevin Shinnick's first really fun arc on the Flash and utilized some of the really great lesser used villains, and also laid some really cool seeds for Barry's future with Iris that I really hope we get to see flower a little bit more as the story goes on. I really enjoyed the use of Barry's scientific knowledge through this arc as well, with Barry sort of stepping up and taking sort of center stage rather than the Flash, so I thought it was really cool that he was using his knowledge to get the better of the villain, and I like that he was looking for help outside his usual circles of Kid Flash and Jay Garrick and all of the people around him that he usually uses, so turning to people like John Stewart and Will Magnus for help was really cool. Iris also calling Barry out on the vain way he was kind of approaching this whole situation to begin with, trying to prove that he was a better chemist than Dr. Alchemy, was really great, and I love that he actually admits it at the end and uses it to grow himself personally. I thought that was really damn cool. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of issues which tie into the Endless Winter storyline, as well as what happens to Flash after that event and what Kevin Shinnick has in store for us after that. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.